Hello guys, and welcome back to another video where I discuss Fortnite theories that I have created. This is a theory that I've had for a couple seasons now, and every season it seems like there is more and more evidence to prove it. If you haven't seen number one of my Fortnite theories, go check it out. It's at the last reality, and the Q Queen are returning for next season, and it seems like every single day there seems to be more evidence with the queue in the loading screen seeming to pop, or lobby screen seeming to be more and more bigger, along with the fact I saw an interesting theory from the Camping Rusher that said maybe the IO's Doomsday device will trigger the last reality to come, but that would disprove pretty much everything in this video, so hopefully not that. But let's get into the video. Okay, so by reading the title, you've probably realized I've said that the IO is good, and there's a couple speculations. Obviously, this season we've been working for the Seven due to quest lines and things, and trying to get the Seven to take intel on them and help them win this war over the IO. And there's been a lot of pro Seven boo IO movements that have been going on in the Fortnite community, but I am here to disprove that and state that we should have free will with like the Ghost and Shadow thing where you got to choose your skins to be either Ghost or Shadow. We have not had this season, which might also make me a little mad, more pro IO, just because it's different and you're not really like there's no choice, so you kind of just want to be pro IO, whereas like you can only be pro 7 during this thing. But also probably the fact I started playing Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 5, which is where we'll start our theory from. And maybe that's just because of the high IO prevalence during that season. It's kind of just made me pro IO. But anyways, let's go to Chapter 2 Season 5 where our story begins. So, the first time that we have the IO guards and other people on the Fortnite Island is Chapter 2, Season 5, I believe. They started roaming around and, yes, shooting us, which is probably where you're like, whoa, that means the IO was bad. You know, they're shooting us, whatever. But you gotta think, these are like high government military officials. If you were on Area 51 trespassing, I'm sure you'd get shot down too. And at least do it this way, we are in the loop, and so we'll just respawn and relive, and it's not like we'll really ever die. So really, when you think about it, they're just being like standard government or military officials. If you get too close to probably a military base and start trespassing, you're probably gonna get shot down. So that's really just what they've been doing. It's just people are like, oh my gosh, they shot me, whatever, now I'm dead. It's just in Fortnite, and it's just kind of like, well, that's what makes sense when they're a government thing. So really no problems for them there. It's what kind of Jonesy does that makes the first mistake of the IO. So the first mistake that the IO makes is getting too many bounty hunters to help them keep us in the loop. Obviously, I think the battle pass would have sufficed for just enough, and maybe, but obviously Fortnite was like, no, we need to make some money. Let's get a bunch of other collabs and stuff. So they just said that the IO was doing that. That's what the storyline was. The IO getting too many bounty hunters, which destabilized the 0 point. That could be for a couple reasons. Either Jonesy just going crazy with his little Rift to Go device, or bad management above him to say you need to keep going for this. Either way, it's a mistake. It's a major mistake. Like, it almost ended the reality, I guess. But I'd say it's kind of just due to bad management. It's not like they really intended to do that. They were trying to keep people in the loop, but then it kind of just few bad mistakes occurred. That obviously that still means they screwed up pretty bad, but I don't think it was really intentional. So here's where we get the first good moment of the 7. Obviously, Jonesy calls the Foundation, and the Foundation helps secure the 0 point, which ends up making the Spire and so on. So first good move by the 7, obviously why the IO, why Dr. Stone on the phone was like, don't call him, is because she probably knew the 7 would try to overthrow the IO like we're seeing during this season. So over this primal season, we actually don't see any IO prevalence on the island, and the 7 stuff is really just Foundation inside of the 0 point. Nothing's really happening over there. It's when we get to Chapter 2, Season 7, the aliens come, and the IO does something good. They are trying to protect the island. They're trying to protect the island against the alien invasion, something that I would say is a bunch of points for them. They're really just trying to help keep the island. And then we get to Mission Skyfire, or whatever it was called, which is the live event, which unfortunately I did not attend, just due to not having Wi-Fi during that time. But that leads us to the live event Skyfire, where all of a sudden people were like, the IO is bad, because they were selfish. So, what really happened during the Skyfire event? Well, Dr. Sloan had us go onto the mothership to see what's up, and her plan was to blow up it so that they could cause the aliens to leave the Fortnite island. When this happened, we saw a bunch of cubes rebooted, one of them turned into Blevin, then we saw like millions of other cubes, and then the ship blew up, hurtling us toward the island. But an interesting point made by Mr. JOY is that Dr. Sloan, like when she did like blow up the ship, we didn't really need to be saved because of the loop, and we would just respawn to the next season. However, a lot of other people, a lot of other fans seem to be mad about this, and we're like, why did she try to save us? Well, again, we were in the loop, and we were just going to respawn to the next season, so there wasn't really a full death scenario. And what a lot of people have to think is it's never really been about us. It's always been about the island. We're only 1/100th of a player in a lobby for or in a game to play a battle royale match. We're not the main focus here. It's always been about the island. There's been different characters, different things that happen to the island. It's always been about the island, never about us. And the whole point was to protect the island from the last reality. In turn, that may have meant we die and whatever, but we end up respawning to the next season, so it's really not that bad. It was a lot better that only a couple cubes, like 10 cubes, ended up on the island, which still caused a big problem, had us going to Chapter 3, but it wasn't like the whole mothership full of millions or thousands of cubes landed and had a bunch of cubes on the island. It wasn't as bad, so point for Dr. Sloan for trying to keep the island safe. Sure, we were the fatalities, but it's not the big deal. It's about the island, guys. That's what's really about the picture here. So that sends us to about chapter 3. This we meet the Seven. The Seven take us to chapter 3. Good point for the Seven, trying to help us out against the last reality to flip the island over and get us safe. I don't really know what the IO was doing during that. They were interrogating, Jonesy, a little suspicious. Kind of seems like a point should be off for them. Like, why weren't they trying to help against the last reality? But I would say that I guess they kind of just knew the Seven had that covered, and they were like, well, let's try and get back one of our agents back. I don't know, whatever. Can't exactly answer to that. Maybe it's a little problem why this theory may not be super feasible. But anyways, good thing that the Seven knew helped us. We end up going into chapter 3, and the IO starts to drill up in order to meet us on the new island. And then we end up with a war with the Seven. During this war, it's been the Seven who have been invading. They have come from the outskirts of the island to invade and push the IO back to a place of only 3 locations: the Fortress, Command Cavern, and now the Collider. So really, it's been the Seven who've been doing most of the military action, and they've been the aggressor during this war. Now you might be like, so that kind of seems like a point should be taken from the Seven for trying to invade IO's land. But then I guess if you think that the government organization is corrupted, a revolution should occur. However, in my opinion, the IO are not corrupted, so there really is no point for the Seven to be trying to invade. But it really does come down to who is the better team on this war, because let's say both of them are doing their own good things. It comes down to intentions and who is doing the best for the island. And here we have it. The IO who wants to keep us in the loop, and the Seven who want to take us out of the loop. Now, a lot of people haven't really considered what this means. If the Seven take us out of the loop, there isn't Fortnite. Fortnite is you die, you respawn to the next match, you play another Battle Royale game till you win. If the Seven break that, we're not getting Fortnite. We're getting something completely different, a completely different game mode. This isn't Battle Royale. And maybe that's Epic's plan, to put lore in order so they can release that new sandbox survival mode, which is basically rip off Minecraft. And maybe this is just to bring that and use storyline in order to promote this new game mode. But this is not Fortnite. This is not Battle Royale if we're not in the loop. The IO have been trying to preserve that, trying to preserve the island. And the Seven, sure, it may have worked. They want free will and whatever. It might actually work in other realities. Obviously, they come from a lot of different ones. But that doesn't work here in the Fortnite island. And they don't understand that, which is a problem, obviously, for this Fortnite island. So the reality is the IO trying to keep us in the loop is what is best for the island, for the game, and honestly quite for us. However, we have been brought to the Doomsday event, which will either prove or disprove my theory. Honestly, it could be the hugest twist. The IO are somehow good again. I kind of doubt that Epic will do that, but just because Epic says that the Seven are good doesn't mean that they're actually the good guys. Taking us out of the loop is not such a great idea, but let's just talk about the Doomsday event for a second. So the Doomsday event, based on the quest line, and when we are taken to that secret place in Command Cavern, it looks like it will blow up almost like a nuke or something and just blow up the entire island. And that's kind of scary, I guess. Means that the island will probably just completely reset and we'll be sent into chapter 4, which is something that we probably will not happen if the 7 end up winning this. But that's not such a big deal. The IO obviously knows that all of us have been kind of corrupted by 7's brainwashing, and the 7 have kind of just taken over this area. So by resetting the whole thing with this Doomsday advice, it works out for the better thing of the island. Sure, we might have to reset into another, island or whatever, but it won't be that bad. We'll just respawn, it's the loop, we'll be fine. So, really, if the IO succeed, I don't see there's a problem with that. Now, do I think Epic Games will let them proceed with this mission? No. I think that's probably pretty obvious. The 7 will probably succeed in this mission, overthrowing the IO, which in my opinion is the wrong decision, but it's probably what Epic Games is going to go with, and then we'll probably just see more and lore and evidence that promotes and tries to prove the 7 are the good guys, which I think they are good guys, but I do have to disagree and state that the IO, in my opinion, is better. Okay, well, that's the end of the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was a longie. I just want you guys to subscribe. That'd be nice. And check out my other Fortnite theory. Like I mentioned earlier, quality's a little bad. Just trying to promote this like big, huge file. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys next video. Goodbye for now.
Yo, I'm the yo bro. Better subscribe cause I got good vibes. I do great mocks and I do great posts. Don't forget that I do lots more. Now you know. Well, you should be subscribed to the yo bro.